How you doing? It's Bill Stage. I'm with Blake Anderson from Dreamscape Technologies today with Behind the Business. How are you doing today, Blake?
It's a great day. Um, we've had a great time being invited to your show, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just kind of want to get the word out there, what you guys do and why you do it. So real quick, kind of tell me what Dreamscape does.
So Dreamscape is kind of a multi-platform for sandblasting, and a lot of people may be familiar with sandblasting, or they may not be familiar with sandblasting. So let me just give you a little bit of a rundown of what that is. So when people have a project, whether that's an industrial or a commercial company, or just I guess a guy off the street. So let's take, for example, a classic car. Let's do a '67 Mustang. So somebody wants to remove that paint off their vehicle to get it fresh for a body shop. They would bring it to us, and we would use, well, we wouldn't use sand, but we have a lot of varieties of media, that's what we call it,
Mm-hmm.
to use. And they kind of start our project with us. You can always go to a body shop and have them sand off everything, but it just takes a lot of time, and we save a lot of time in that process.
Gotcha.
We also do work for industrial customers like John Deere and XPAC. So we have our book is quite varied in what we do. We have hobbyists that use us, and we have industrial and commercial companies that use us.
Gotcha. Yeah, that was actually one of my very first jobs was sandblasting. My great uncle owns a painting business, so I was in charge of lifting the 100-pound bags of sand into the sandblaster, and it was excruciating as a 17-year-old kid. But
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. It's not the cleanest job in the world, but I think it's one of the most satisfying. Uh, the equipment that we use is quite different than what a hobbyist might use in their home. They might have a sandblasting cabinet and a compressor, and we certainly do have some of that equipment for some of the smaller pieces that we do. But
hmm
we have three mobile trailers that we use, and we use those in our shop too. They're really great. We blast at a high CFM or PSI, and we can knock out a car typically in about 4 hours.
mm,
And I don't know, it allows us to go through uh, a lot of people's projects in a short amount of time. Um, and being mobile, it's nice. We can either stay in our shop, or we can get out into, I guess, the community and blast wherever it's appropriate.
right.
In fact, just later this afternoon, if it doesn't rain too early, we have to blast a skid steer outside. So it's it's one of those things that it's never really the same. We always have different stuff to do.
Yeah.
Last year before our great flood, we were very fortunate to we blasted the interiors of 4 downtown buildings,
Oh wow.
and a lot of people paint over things, and that they don't want that paint on there, so we blasted the inside. Um,
Yeah.
for example, the condos in the old Rome building.
hmm
Um, we had blasted those. So it's a dirty job, but it's a fun one, I think.
Yeah. Your website that I'm just pulling up right now says a company built by dreamers for dreamers chasing their dreams. Tell me what that means to you. Who are these dreamers you're helping?
Well, I think when my boss had started this company originally, they started as an engraving company,
Mhm.
and then he found a couple other avenues that he wanted to go down, and which one was sandblasting. And he really is the dreamer of our
Mhm.
company. He gives us direction in where we want to go, what projects to take on, what projects not to take. And so that's his dream, was to build a company around his dreams, his family's dreams, his employees' dreams, and to make it successful for everybody, not just him.
Hmm.
The dreamers that we serve are people, I think, that have those personal projects that, I'm sure, in this time that a lot of us have had off, we've had projects that we want to get done.
Hmm.
And we serve a lot of those people who are dreaming to, have their first car, to have, um, I just worked with a gentleman who builds uh, small locomotives, and it's his dream, as it was his father's, to bring a lot of this history back to life. And
Yeah,
that's really what the dreamers that we serve.
gotcha. Yeah, that's quite an undertaking. What are some of the projects that you're proud to have been a part of?
Um, you know, I hate to say that I'm not proud of any one of them. I'm certainly proud to be a part of all of them.
Yeah.
Um, when people bring us something, it's usually has 3 or 4 layers of paint on it. In fact, we're helping restore some old lights that go on the outside of a Victorian home. So
Mm.
originally these were gas lit lights and then converted to electric. And the lady who's having us work on them, she could go out and buy new lights, and it'd probably be a lot cheaper. But these were built with the home. She wants them to look like they did when they were first put on, and we're
Mhm.
proud to be a part of that. And there's other businesses that we work with that are a part of that process too. And it's only 11 lights,
Mhm.
and but they're the most important thing to her in the project that she's doing. And so it's where we might see more expensive projects, or we might see projects that would take us less time, maybe make us a little bit more money. It's important to her. So for every project that we do, it's important for us to be a part of that process, and to also offer her options for coatings after the fact with the many business partners. If you notice on our website, it says we do coatings,
Mhm.
and we can do those, but there are a lot of coatings that we can't do. For powder coating, electroless nickel coating, chrome plating, excuse me, those are just things that we can't do, or we don't have the capability of doing. So we work with a lot of our partners to um, maximize the efficiency of people's time. So instead of them having to search for a good price, a good this, a good that, to look for recommendations, and we just make it kind of a one-stop shop.
Gotcha.
So I just did a Jeep bumper for somebody. It was old and worn out. We took it, blasted it, had it powdered coated at the powder coater that we use, and she didn't have to pick it up from us, take it to them, wait more time. It was just 3 or 4 days. It's done, and it's back in her hands, and she can get it back on her vehicle as soon as possible. So when you see that, the look of people, oh, I didn't expect it that soon, or oh, wow, this looks great. That's big or small, it doesn't matter.
Mhm. That's great, man. So I noticed on your website you're offering the COVID-19 disinfection and decontamination services. Is that something we can talk about? What do you guys do with that?
Sure. There's the one of the companies that we work with uh, that supplies us with some of the materials that we get, saw a need to create a component for the blasting machines that we have, to make it so that it would convert our system to disinfect. Um, as you know, a lot of businesses that have been affected by this, and we don't know to what degree, I guess, things are, what bacteria sits where, how, we know we have a decent idea of how long it sits there.
Mhm.
But there's been some employers in the area who have reached out to us to say, hey, I heard you guys have this. It's something that we would like to do, and I believe they're scheduled to be done it's a timing thing, I guess, for them, and they want to ensure that their employees feel safe when they return to work.
Hmm.
So it's not something where, I mean, you get wet or things get wet when you do this, but instead of having your employees, I guess, try to disinfect every little nook and cranny of everything, we can come in there. So, for example, we haven't talked about anything like this, but just as an example, um, the baseball park um, down there. I mean, it would be great if we could get a job like that. We could, you know, everything that we spray could be left to dry. It's out in the open. It's nice, but we've also had calls to do industrial and commercial settings as well. So it's just kind of setting up those things, and hopefully as our time away from work, well, not yours and not mine, but the rest of the world in
Hmm.
Iowa, we want to make sure that people are protected when they go back to work.
Yeah, yeah, that's great, and I love the adaptation of the equipment to serve some different needs. What do you like focusing on at your job? What's your favorite part of what you do over there, Blake?
My favorite part, as his kind of his right hand man, his salesman, a yin to his yang, I guess, um, is meeting with people. It's always, every job I've ever had has, it's been about meeting with people, but this job in particular, because most of the stuff that people bring us, I've either worked on, he's worked on. Um, we just find we get so much enjoyment in helping people further their project. We do a ton of automotive.
Hmm.
So we do a lot of wheels, blasting and powder coating. We do a lot of uh, bicycle, motorcycle frames, all different components that go in there. You know, somebody buys a new Harley, they don't like the color of their chrome handlebars. We blast them and powder coat them.
Hmm.
And I guess it's when people, I guess it's when people see it, um, when they get it back is when, if it hasn't been coated and they want to continue the project, um, a lot of people haven't seen bare metal before. Most people have seen, a painted product. So it's neat to see their face on how clean it is. And then when they use the right product, um, after when they coat it, um, they send me a picture when it's done. They send it with a trophy sitting next to it. They send it with a medal sitting, a picture of them next to it. It brings, it might be a little corny, but it brings a little bit of joy to my heart because they've finished something and we've had a hand in doing that. So, whether it's I don't know, a father-son mini bike project, or we've done blasting on cars that will eventually be $100,000 SEMA show cars.
Hmm.
We've done work like that, but it doesn't matter. It's I guess the joy of seeing people appreciate that type of work.
Yeah, yeah, that's great,
Because
man.
when we do commercial, because when we do a commercial and industrial work, we never get to see the end result of it. Not really,
Yeah,
because we're doing 100 light poles, and it's not like we're going to go out and look at the light pole and be like, "Oh, this looks great."
yeah,
It's more, it's better when you got to work with somebody and you get to see their reaction.
yeah. No, that's cool. That's very satisfying, I'm sure. So if you could pick somebody to be in the hot seat where you are right now on this program, is there somebody you can think of that has an interesting business or backstory or just deserves some extra love this time?
Um, there's I could probably think of a couple. I don't know if it would be for punishment or promotion, but um, I would love to see one of our partners, so I think would deserve to be on this show. Um, his name is John Stevens. He owns and runs a small business in the area called Wear Coat International. They're in Rock Island. Um, they do an electroless nickel coating, which is very interesting. It's some of our customers utilize him, um, and he's just a really shirt off your back, stand up type of guy.
Well,
So
that's great.
that's who I would like. That's who I would like to see. I don't know if he would do it, but I would really like this. I would really like to see him do it because he's got a lot of knowledge and he's got a product that most people have either never heard of, but could benefit a large amount of people, I think.
Mhm. Very cool. Well, I'll make sure to reach out and see if we can get him on the program for promotion or punishment. I like that.
Yeah, sure, sure,
Blake,
sure.
did we hit everything? Is there anything else we need to get out to the Quad Cities about Dreamscape Technologies?
You know what? I think that's it. I appreciate you having me on your show today. We certainly appreciate it, and hopefully we can all get back to work here pretty soon and enjoy the Quad Cities that we've all been missing.
Absolutely. dstechnologyllc.com is the website for Dreamscape Technologies. Blake, thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bill.